basically, just shortly after that, the winds changed. So
Sure.
down
No, I did.
down in our level, it was
Fine.
slightly breezy, but
Yeah.
you got to think they're up 400 or 500 feet.
Yeah.
Probably a lot windier up there. So for them to go up, it just wasn't safe, which I get. It sucks because everyone was there waiting.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
we're gonna wake up bright and early tomorrow.
Yep.
And hopefully get to see it tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, seriously, I cannot get enough of your channel. Please crank out some more videos, even if it's just Mike flying the drone over some ridiculous base in Alberta.
We just need Mike to get a drone.
We're getting one.
Oh, wait, that wasn't Mike's drone footage?
No.
Oh, Mike, don't do that to us, man.
Busted.
Secret's out.
Secret's out.
Busted.
Sorry.
Okay,
Maybe not.
Mike, I have like 9 drones I'm sending you one. Give me your address. Seriously, like, I have 9 drones. Give me your address. Send me, like, just go to my channel, go to the About tab, and click on the thing and check the box and get my email address. It's themusterdrill@gmail.com.
All right.
Send me your address. I'm totally FedExing you a drone.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
No, seriously, like, I'm totally doing it. I want real live footage of the land in which I wish I lived.
Oh
Yeah, I'll
my, oh
definitely do
my,
that.
oh my.
You want some sunset whenever the sun does set there.
Yeah, like, does the sun ever set there, really? Like, wait,
it does.
when the sun does set, do you see green shimmering lights in the sky?
No. We get like the pinks and the oranges. Kind of like cotton candy kind of
Gotcha.
color.
Yep.
Okay. So listen, last year I was on Carnival Magic. Oh, Ross, you're back.
Yeah.
So listen, last year I was on Carnival Magic in Eastern Canada, very far from where you guys live. So I was just kind of standing there, admiring the ship that I had been there on.
Yeah.
After an amazing day walking around the city that I was in. And these 2 people who live there came up, Shay and somebody. Anyway, they were the most amazing and friendly people. I mean, seriously, like, just incredible people. I love you Canadians so much. You guys, like, seriously, you guys aren't crazy.
Yep.
Like, seriously, like, you guys are not crazy like we are, right? Like, you're the Americans from the 1950s. And no, seriously, like, I love you guys so much. Like, I want to live there. Like, even if I have to become like an expat and like drive 2 hours to get money out of an ATM and stuff like that, like they do in Mexico. like, I love you guys so much. You guys are so amazing.
Yay. Sorry if I'm bobbing around here a lot. I'm trying to.
Seriously, like, I have never seen the most interesting videos about going to the nursery. No, seriously, like, I'm telling you, like I tell my wife, her name is Elizabeth, but I call her Beth, right? And people that she works with call her Liz, and like, I sometimes meet with people that she works with, and I'm like referring to Beth, and like, they'll stop me and like, who the hell is Beth? And I'm like, oh, Liz, right? But anyway, so listen, so like, I tell Beth all the time, look, wait, come here and see Mike and Rheanna's video. Like, come on, they're just going to the nursery, and they have made the trip to the nursery the most interesting damn video I've ever seen in my life. Like, I can't stand it. I can't stand it how interesting it is. Seriously. Like, we live like 2 minutes from this nursery that used to be called Country Market.
Yep.
And then it got bought by this Amish. I don't know. Do you have Amish in Canada? Well, probably not.
No,
But-
probably not.
Yeah, there it is.
Do you know what
There
Amish
are
is?
Amish in Canada, but I don't
Okay.
think they're around us.
So I live about 45 minutes from Amish country, Pennsylvania, which is Lancaster, right? Lancaster County. It's where all the Amish live.
Yeah.
So I what they call Dutch country, right? So
Yep.
I live about 45 minutes from there. So there's a big kind of, I guess, commercialized company there, or it's called Stauffer's of Kissel Hill, right? So they took over this country marketplace that's like literally like 30 seconds from my house, right? So anyway, so they took over this place, and like we go up there, we look around, it's very similar to the videos I see you guys of going to the different places you go. But
Yeah.
I'm like, even if I videoed it, it would never be as interesting and as amazing as Mike and Rheanna's trip to the nursery. Like, honestly, like it's insane. Like, seriously, it's in here. I'm even gonna do this homage to you guys, right? This is what I look like without my sunglasses on. Holy crap! Like, this is just for you guys. This is how much I love you guys. I'm taking my sunglasses. I'm taking my sunglasses
Wow.
off. I'm taking my sunglasses off for you guys. That's how much I love you.
Well, thank you.
Actually, I
But
think
that's
that
it,
was
though.
the first
Like,
time
that's
I've
never
ever
going
seen
to
it.
happen again, right? Like 20 years from now, people are going to look back on this video and they're like, holy crap, that guy took his sunglasses off 20 years ago. I'm not taking them off ever again.
Like the Mandalorian.
Yes, exactly.
This is the way.
Exactly. I know you got that stormtrooper mask nearby, Eddie. Put that
Oh.
damn thing on right.
It's probably right beside
Right
him.
beside him.
I got my Ewok right here.
Ewok.
But these are prescription sunglasses because look, like here are the ones like I can't see you guys at all right now, but now I can.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, like these are prescription sunglasses. The ones I wear in all my vlogs are prescription sunglasses.
Oh, we got to paint pineapples
That's
on
awesome.
this stormtrooper
Oh,
helmet.
God.
Yeah.
The hardest thing is I can't be looking at the screen.
I know. I'm sorry, Rheanna.
I'm driving super slow so I can look over.
No, but seriously, like I'm like Mike is like a man of few words, right?
Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah. So like
Yeah.
I'm like Beth is always standing over here, and she was like, "Can Mike just say a few more words so that we can hear? Like, does he really sound like a Michigander or not?" Right? Like seriously, like we're always saying like what we're catching. Like Mike, say a couple more words, man.
Yeah.
Like we need to hear it. Now, where I live, they are always making fun of me because we enunciate words. We like are very specific in enunciation of everything. But you know, the U.S. has a lot of different accents. Maybe even if people don't recognize them, but where I live, 20 minutes from Hershey, Pennsylvania, 20 minutes from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, we enunciate words very specifically. But nobody really recognizes that unless we're in a place like Missouri.
I am the Pineapple King.
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are.
You are the Pineapple King.
Even
You gotta
though,
fight- I think
my
you gotta
clock
fight
tried
the,
to,
Monte Cruiser.
yeah, I
Listen, Mike or Ross, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry that Mike and Rheanna jumped in there or whatever, but I would love talking to you, talking shop with you sometime.
Sure. Just one quick question for you. Do you have one of these?
I do. Now, no, not an IATA, but I have a CLIA card.
You want an IATA, it gives you more power.
I do have a CLIA card.
IATA card gives you more power than
Yeah.
a CLIA card every single day of the week.
I have a list of cards here in my on my desk. Here, let me see if I have a CLIA card in here.
CLIA will only give you discounts on cruise lines. IATA will give you discounts on airlines, cruise lines, hotels, just about anything travel related.
So here's the thing: I have my host's IATA number, which I do use often for discounts.
But you actually need to physically have a card, and you can get it through your host.
No, I agree. Some suppliers will give me discounts on my host IATA, but some actually require me to have my own IATA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the agency I was involved with for 30 years is now known as Pro Travel International, largest independently owned travel agency in the world. And prior to that, I was actually with an agency here in Chicago called Fulton Street Travel.
Okay.
Which got sold out to Pro Travel.
Yeah.
So we were doing high end and luxury. I was doing a lot of corporate.
Gotcha.
And also doing educational groups for Disney World, schools, performing groups, and all of that. So I was also a tour operator.
Gotcha.
And now I'm in the trucking industry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I stopped in 2008.
So
travel.
My dad was a truck driver for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's where I get my love for driving from him.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked for the Pennsylvania legislature.
Okay.
For 30 years. So I was in IT actually, but I was in this kind of position where I was kind of like the go-to guy. So I had exclusive access and very exclusive access to all the Senate leadership and stuff like that, whatever. So, in fact, the Senate Majority Leader during the tenure of my time there, I actually had a key to his home. So I was pretty close to him. So I worked there for 30 years and did pretty much IT. I worked for Hershey Chocolate,
okay,
and a Swedish company that built mining equipment for like deep sea mining and stuff like that or whatever. So that was pretty much the bulk of my IT career, but the most of my IT career was with the Pennsylvania legislature. So the Republican Senate is who I worked for. I worked for all 29 Republican senators in the state of Pennsylvania, and then I retired.
Okay.
So my wife still works for the state of Pennsylvania. She works for the Department of Revenue, and she does corporate tax auditing. So my son just graduated from Penn State University this past, I guess, like a year now, and he works for the Pennsylvania House of Representatives. But he works for the Democrats. And my daughter works for the National Multiple Sclerosis Society.
Okay.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah. The company I currently work for is the largest manufacturer of carpet underlayment, carpet padding. We're an inside carrier for them, so I work for one company, but these are our clients. And the reason why I'm saying that is, as I mentioned before, Eddie, our client is making all the carpet padding for the Icon of the Seas, and the last 5 cargo containers of 400 went out today.
Nice. Icon. I mean, I've been obviously following Icon from the very beginning. I get a little bit of stuff from the cruise line as a travel agent that the public doesn't get, or I get it like a little bit before the public gets it.
Yeah.
But regardless of all the information I've got, I still cannot wrap my mind around the absolute shock and awe of what this ship is going to be like in person.
I mentioned to Eddie, I have a friend who's actually already booked on it. They're going, I think, the 6th or 7th cruise. They have the ultimate family townhome.
Oh my God!
72 grand for a family of 4 for a week.
Oh my God! I think I heard you mention that in another live stream or something like that. Like insane.
Yeah,
absolutely.
What's the work she does? She figures, well, if I have it, I want to give my kids things that I didn't have growing up.
Yeah.
She's a senior executive in the tech industry.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, she has money to burn.
Yeah.
I'm on the first sailing, but I'm in the interior.
You know, as I've been sitting here watching Mike showing us like Alberta, I'm like, God, Mike, I want to live there. So
Kind of looks like Pennsylvania anyway.
no, seriously.
Yeah.
Like it looks, listen, as many times as I've been to Canada, it's exactly the same as the US, just without all the insanity.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Speaking of that, Rheanna, can you pull into a Tim Hortons for a minute?
Actually, not near one.
Exactly.
I'll take some fries.
Last year, I was on Magic that went to Canada, and it was an incredible time. I was actually just telling my wife. My wife and I are booked together on Venetia, to the same itinerary, just not Magic. It's Venetia, and I told her, I was like, you know, I'm so worried that we're not going to have at least similar weather. I had the most amazing weather when I was there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm so worried that we're not going to have good weather because I'm so worried that her first impression of this Eastern Canada itinerary is not going to be good. Like if it's going to be just crappy weather. But I'm really hoping that it's at least comparable to the weather we had when I was there last year because it was absolutely amazing. I mean, just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that's the one Mike Clark did, and he did a video on the Titanic area.
Yeah. So when I went there on Magic in mid-September or something like that or whatever, so we went to St. John and Sydney and Halifax. So Sydney and Halifax are both in Nova Scotia. And obviously, St. John is in New Brunswick.
Yeah.
So, and Sydney was kind of overcasted that day, but it didn't rain, so it was pretty nice. And Halifax was sunny, amazing. Washington, D.C. is really my city, right? So I've been to Washington, D.C. 1,000 times probably in my lifetime.
Yeah.
So Halifax reminded me so much of Washington, D.C. And when I say Washington, D.C., I don't mean like downtown where like the Smithsonian and everything. I mean the neighborhoods of Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
It reminded me so much of like off the beaten path Washington. I loved it so much. Like I just fell in love with it from the beginning.
It's pretty nice. I really enjoyed Halifax.
Yeah.
I definitely want to go through the city a little bit more next time I go.
Yeah. So when I went to Halifax, I walked down the waterfront. I got poutine, but I didn't get it until the end of the end of the day. So I walked down through the waterfront, and then I literally just picked a side street and I walked. And I walked up through these incredible neighborhoods. I went into this shop that just kind of had a little bit of everything. And, the people in there were really amazing. I struck up some conversations with them and stuff. And I ended up in the city gardens. Did you go there?
I did not. We went past it.
Yeah.
Like the Queen's been there and all kinds of different things.
Right. So I ended up in the city gardens. I walked in there. Just absolutely beautiful, fantastic. I couldn't get enough of it. I never wanted to leave. And then I walked all around there for like probably 2 hours. and then walked out of there and walked through, a bunch of other neighborhoods. I just saw the most amazing stuff. I stopped by the lieutenant governor of what province is that? Is it Nova Scotia? Yeah. So I stopped by the lieutenant governor's house of Nova Scotia, and there was like a guest book there that you could stop and sign and stuff. It was just extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary. I could not get enough of it. Then ended up back down on the waterfront, went and got some poutine, ate some poutine, and then I walked back along the waterfront to the ship. I mean, just incredible. When I got to the ship, I was finishing my vlog, so I was like, so I think that's going to do it for today's video. I was like doing that whole thing, and this woman walked up to me and she was like, "Are you a vlogger?" And I was like, "Yes." And she was like, "It's very nice to meet you. What's your channel?" Blah, blah, blah. I had a conversation with her about it. She was a native Canadian, and I mean, I just can't tell you. It was like fantastic. And I keep telling my wife, I'm so afraid that when we go there in Venezia, that the weather's not going to be at least equally nice, and that she's not going to have the same experience. And she's kind of like one of these people, like, if my first impression sucks, I'm never going there again.
When we got off, we got on the double-decker on and off bus tour.
Yes.
Well, our bus got stuck at the damn fort because all these other buses were trying to get there at the same time. So it took us forever to get out of the fort.
Okay.
And we didn't even stop at the fort. We just drove around it just to look at it. That's just like one of the things that they take you around. Well, it took forever just to get around there. And then when we went to the grave site of the Titanic, there's 150 people buried there from the Titanic.
Right.
We stopped at the grave site, got off, and there's supposed to be a bus every 15 minutes. Well, we went and did our thing at the graveyard. Took about maybe a half hour, maybe 45 minutes, something like that. We went back in line. We waited for over an hour for the next bus to come. So our day was shot because of the getting stuck at the fort and then getting stuck at the graveyard. So when we got back, we did a little walk around the harbor there.
Mm-hmm.
We went to a restaurant which had very good New England clam chowder, and then we got beef and barley soup, and we both got a side of shrimp, which was a big bowl of shrimp.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say, like, total for everything was, with our drinks, both of us had big bowls of soup, and the shrimp was like $28.
Yeah.
It was cheap.
Right.
And then I seen there was a casino down the end, so I ran down there and got a chip from there, and then we headed back towards the ship and grabbed some ice cream.
Yeah.
Away.
Yeah. So like when I was there, like I got some poutine there on the waterfront, and then I got what they call was it a beaver tail or beaver?
Yes.
Yeah, beaver tail or something like that, or
Yeah, it's
whatever.
beaver tail.
Yeah, I got one of those.
What's a beaver tail?
Yeah, I mean, like,
Isn't it candy?
It was a total tourist thing, right? Like you can tell,
Have
like
you
it
guys
was
heard
not
of
like what the locals
elephant
eat,
ears?
right?
It's a Canadian
Right.
bear cluck.
Have you guys heard of
Yeah.
elephant ears?
Nope.
No, so like when I was walking through the neighborhoods, like and stuff, like I was way off the tourist beaten path, right? I was walking through neighborhoods, and like one of the funniest things was I was in this neighborhood, and there was like it kind of reminded me of like a clubbing kind of thing. There's like a lot of like bars and restaurants and stuff like that. You could tell they were really happening at night, but I was there at like probably 2:00 in the afternoon. So this guy was like in a delivery van. He was backing in. He backed into this stop sign, and I just started like cracking up. I don't know why I thought it was funny, but I just started cracking up laughing. And when I got up next to him, he had his window down, and I said to him, I was like, "Who the hell needs a backup camera, right?" And he just like started like talking to me and something. I was like, in the U.S., if I'd have had that kind of conversation with him, he'd have probably told me to go F myself, right? Or
Yeah,
give me a
of course,
finger.
yeah.
Like, I love you Canadians so much, Mike and Rheanna. I love you guys. You are amazing.
You guys still driving? How far are you?
No, seriously, like keep on driving. I'm loving every second. No, seriously, like I'm loving every millisecond of it.
Thinking that I'm in California right now, the way the land is open.
It's
This
incredible.
is the back road to our house.
Look at that! Look at the sunset.
Okay,
Now.
I hope you got an extra room because I'm coming.
Don't worry, Mike will get to sleep outside.
And if you don't, I'll just stay in a nearby hotel. I'll just stay in a nearby hotel and I'll just come over for breakfast every morning.
Rheanna bakes good breads.
Yeah.
Bread and that stuff. So yes, just bring some butter, some cheddar cheese from Wisconsin, and you'll be all right. Make some sandwiches. Make some paninis.
No, but seriously, like I was like I'm watching like their videos. I'm watching Mike and Rheanna's videos. I'm watching them. Right? Like it doesn't matter how old they are. Like I'm watching them, and then like finally, like my wife's like, seriously, like. Don't they sound like people from the upper Midwest? Like seriously, like Mike doesn't say words. Like Mike says like one word. I'm like, come on, Mike, say a couple more words, man. I'm trying to cue in on it, man. Like I'm zeroing in, like like I'm trying to zero in on it. Like say a couple more words, Mike. Come on, like stop saying like one word. Like look, the squirrel, right? Like I'm trying to like. Say a couple more words, Mike. Come on, man. Give me something to work on here, man.
Say
Right?
bout and house. Bout,
Boot.
house. I still got currency from Canada when the last time we went. What was it? About 8 years ago. 10, yeah, probably like 10. Went to the falls and crossed over and traded some American money for Canadian. And then on the way back, I traded it back again, but that time I kept some. So let me keep some of your change and some of the bills.
Yeah. So, Mike, I was like looking at your channel. Like, I think there's an email address on there or whatever. Like, please don't be offended by this or whatever, but I have some unique Canadian currency images I'm going to send you.
Oh, okay.
So please don't be offended by him or whatever, right? But anyway, so I stumbled across him a very long time ago. But when I went to Cuba, like this is a kind of a travel agent. Ross will know this, right? But this is kind of a travel agent trick. When I went to Cuba, I determined that it was cheaper for me to do this at AAA, which is like a motor club in the US, than it was at a bank. So I went. So when I was going to when I was going to Cuba, I went to AAA and I purchased $500 of Canadian currency, and it took like I don't know, like 2 or 3 days for them to get it, but they sent me an email and said, "Hey, we have your currency there," and I went there and I got it, and I took that currency with me to Cuba. Because when you go to Cuba as a U.S. or Canadian, you have to exchange to two. They have two currencies in Cuba. They have the peso that the native or the Cuban people use, and they have a tourist peso. So you trade your money in for the tourist peso, and if it's U.S. currency, you pay a 10% penalty because of the embargo. But if it's Canadian currency, you don't pay any penalty whatsoever.
Right.
And then when you leave, you can convert your tourist pesos back into U.S. currency without the penalty, which I think is very interesting. You would pay the penalty if you were converting into the peso, but not out. But anyway, so I had all this Canadian currency, and I was tempted to keep some of it. Just because it's so interesting compared to our money, even our new money. It's very, very interesting. So in any event, that's the kind of way I got around the 10% penalty with going, because I purchased Canadian currency and converted it into pesos and then back into U.S. currency when I left Cuba.
I told my brother that. My brother goes to Cuba every chance he gets. I'm gonna let him know.
Oh man, I'll tell you, like I can't wait to go back to Cuba. Like I told my wife, I was like, listen, if cruises aren't allowed back in Cuba, like within I'm just gonna fly there. I'm just gonna fly there. I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna spend some time. I'm gonna see more than I could see on a cruise. Because a cruise you only have so many hours, right?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna like go out into Cuba and visit it and stuff like that. See other parts of Cuba and stuff like that. Like, there's no way I'm letting another trip to Cuba pass me by in my lifetime. Just not doing it.
yeah. My
I
brother kept telling me that I should go with him, but I don't.
Seriously, like I can't tell you, like like as cruisers, we know this, right? You go to all these you go all these cruising ports, and when you get off the ship, depending on which port you're in, it's worse. Some are worse than others, but
Mhm.
everybody is coming up to you wanting you to buy something,
Yeah,
right? So, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't begrudge them of that at all, but I was astonished at how many people came up to me in Cuba. And I thought for sure, here I am just walking along the street. I mean, obviously, I don't look Cuban, right? But here I am walking along the street, just, and people came up to me and I'm like, okay, they're about to sell me something or ask me if I needed a ride somewhere or something like that. Nope. They just wanted to talk to me. They just wanted to say, hello, how are you? Because they recognized that I was obviously not from there. They just came up to me to talk to me, just to say, hello, how are you? Who are you? It's nice to meet you. Have a nice day. I was blown away. Seriously, like when I walked after that entire experience, I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I
yeah,
cannot believe that nobody tried to sell me anything and they just wanted to know who I was.
yeah.
Like, extraordinary. Like,
I
I
had an experience
really
like that in Miami where a Cuban that just came from the island. You could tell how different they are from the Cubans that live in Miami. The Cubans in
yeah,
Miami, they're up there, and this person that came from Cuba a day before or something, it was a totally different person.
yes, right,
Even the accent was different. You
right.
know, I'm like, wow,
Yes,
it's
I'm
different.
gonna
extraordinary,
say that
extraordinary. Like
it,
my
it,
wife had bought me this shirt. I think she got it on Amazon or something like that. It just said Cuba, and I wore it the day we were in Havana. And one of the guys who walked up to me, he's like, "That's our baseball." Like, and I was like, "Oh, it's your baseball?" And he was like, "Yeah." He was like, "That font style is our baseball team." And I was like, "I didn't know that." I was wearing the shirt. I didn't know that, right? Like, just amazing, amazing people,
Yeah,
honestly. Like, I've been to almost every Caribbean island, and everybody is unique and amazing in their own way.
yep,
But the Cubans were really something special. Seriously, really something.
yeah,
so when we were on the Oasis of the Seas, Mike will probably know who this is. I don't know about everybody else. We actually were very lucky that our cruise was the first cruise on his itinerary. We met Super Mario.
Good.
I don't know. Does you know who he is?
No, I know
I know
who he
who it
is.
is.
Yep, he's the guy who lives on the Royal Caribbean ships.
Yep. And he is, I would say, one of the friendliest people we ever met.
Yeah,
They had an area roped off for him. We were always up on the pool deck. Every morning we would walk by and good morning. He would say good morning. Eventually he said, come in and talk to me. So we were talking with him and we learned his story. He came from Cuba when he was 12 years old
hmm
on a raft, orphan.
yep,
Came to the United States, uh, worked hard all of his life,
yep,
became an investment banker,
yes,
and he doesn't want to live on land. He lives in the ship with his
yep,
cat and his assistants
right.
on board royal ships,
yeah.
and he conducts his business right from the ship.
Nice. nice. So he doesn't have to worry about nothing else.
Yeah, he's a super friendly person, very nice person. I have not been on a ship with him yet. As many royal ships as I've been on, I have not been actually on a cruise with him yet, but I've seen many interviews with him.
Yep.
Yeah, very approachable, very nice guy.
Well, in our conversation with him, he has said that he will be on the Icon for 6 months, starting on the inaugural cruise.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay, cool.
Cool.
I'll get to meet him then.
Yeah.
Don't squish him too hard, Mike.
Top area in the smoking area on the pool deck that says Super Mario's office.
Yeah, he hangs out a lot in the Diamond and the Concierge Lounge.
Mhm.
So that's where you can find him mostly. I know that for sure. But now I'm only Diamond on Royal Caribbean, and I'm not Diamond Plus. I'm almost Diamond Plus. So so I can't get into the Concierge Lounge because I refuse to pay for a suite. So I can't get into the Concierge Lounge until I'm Diamond Plus, but I can get into the Diamond Lounge, and he is in there sometimes on the cruises that he's on. So
I've never been on the Royal Caribbean yet, so.
So speaking of Icon, you probably saw in my message. I have a new video up all about the dining on the Icon. If you have not,
yeah,
seen
I talked about that this morning on our morning show, the
Okay.
dining, the supper club.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
interests me. And then also they're going to have like 5 like food truck stalls or like a food hall set up
Yes.
up in the Aquadome.
Yes, right. So I talked about that. Like I did a quick little kind of blurb on the dining on our morning show this morning that was about the food hall. It was the first ever food hall at sea, as well as the
Was
supper
it free?
club. So
Yeah.
yes, it's part of it's included.
Okay.
Now the supper club isn't.
That's
What's
an
the summer
the
club?
dining hall is.
experience.
Yeah, but the dining hall is.
What's
So.
the summer club?
The supper club is kind of modeled after kind of like 1940s New York. So it's an 8-course meal. And there's like a 3-course band in there, and it's I mean it's like specialty dining, right? So so it's whatever you would expect from a kind of higher level, upper level specialty dining experience. But it's an 8-course meal. It's, swanky, kind of like, like a 40s style supper club, So if you understand the term supper club, it really comes from New York in the, in kind of like the heyday of New York. So, but the dining hall is included. It's probably the royal equivalent of Carnival's street eats.
Yeah,
So on their XL class ships.
I got you. Eddie, you're muted.
I was reading something else. That's why I went muted. Sorry. Something from the neighborhood here that I was reading.
So, like in the morning show, Eddie and I are always like this.
Because Z's always picking on me.
Hey, have you heard when Utopia's sailings are going to be able to be booked?
Not a word about Utopia.
2026.
Oh, shut up.
I mean, other than that, so Royal has for travel agents, Royal has a special website that only travel agents can get into from their travel agent portal. And they have, a lot of stuff in there about things, not a peep other than what like Eddie is saying, like just when it's expected to sail and stuff like that, like no sneak peek. They're still really heavily
June.
plugging Icon.
Yeah. They slipped up and said something about June at a press conference or something last month or a couple weeks ago or something.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that's the case because I would really like to book it.
Right. Yeah, I have a group on Icon. Let me see here. I have to open up my other browser because I have it in my other browser. April 20th to the 20 April 20th. Yeah, April 20th, 7-day cruise on Icon. I have a group on there. I have, look here. Believe it or not, I have 410 people on that cruise. Right? Like that commission is cha-ching.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah. So I have a group on there for April 20th, but I am not sailing it myself.
I got you. I sat there on hold from 11 o'clock at night the night before they put the Icon on sale. And
No, so listen. So I booked the majority of those people on that sailing the day it was released, like the bookings were released.
Yeah.
And I was on Harmony at the time, right? And I was like, oh, cruise ship internet, don't fail me now. Right? Like I was like, oh my God, am I gonna be able to book these people? Right? Am I gonna have to send them some email from from one of the islands from my cell phone saying, thank you very much for contacting Sail Away Cruise and Travel. Like I wasn't sure what was gonna happen, but it worked well enough. I handled it. But now it's 4.5 times more. Seriously, like the price is
You read the
4.5
chat, you know why.
times what it was when I booked
I
it.
wasn't doing this.
Yeah.
And it's only been
The double sign.
4 months, 5 months, and the price is 4.5,
I
if
can't
not
remember
5
there.
times what those people paid to get on there. It's
We're going together, so that's why I want to just.
They said mine was $3,000 for the interior.
yeah, like which I think is, I mean,
ridiculous.
it is ridiculous, but it's kind of reasonable at the same time, right?
It's reasonable for a first sailing of a.
Yes, it's
brand
kind
new
of reasonable.
ship.
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of reasonable, but I agree with Eddie. It's kind of ridiculous, right? But I'm telling you, it's $12,000 right now.
Yeah.
I just had clients contact me. We just want to take a simple 7-day cruise from Bayonne or Baltimore or wherever we don't have to fly to.
Yeah.
To the Bahamas for 7 days. 8, and it's 2 adults, 2 kids. And from a travel agent standpoint, the 3rd and 4th passenger are practically free compared to what you're paying for passenger 1 and 2. It's $8,000 for an interior. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I sent it to them. They were like, thanks. They were like, no thanks. Like they go, like, I always know when I send a client a quote and I don't hear back from them.
And that's for Icon, or that's for something from
No, that's for ridiculous stuff like Legend.
Yeah.
Legend from Baltimore.
Legend.
Yeah, like Oasis from Bayonne. Ridiculous. I was on Oasis last May from Bayonne in a balcony. Cost me $1,200 for 2 people.
So
now it's $8,000.
I paid. Let's see. In June, I paid $2,100 for 2 people in a interior.
Yeah, I was in a balcony for $1,200 for 2 people. Right now, it's $8,000.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And on top of that, Royal Caribbean has taken away all travel agent rates because they don't even want to give us a cabin at a travel agent rate because they're getting too much. Like, I'm kind of pissed at the American public. At the same time, as a travel agent, I make my money off of this, right? So I'm kind of pissed at people and also, not pissed at people at the same time because I'm thinking if you people would stop giving the cruise lines this kind of money for 7 days on a
Maybe they'd
super
stop raising
crowded
prices.
ship, they would stop charging this kind of money,
Mhm.
right? Like if you would just stop doing it, they wouldn't charge this kind of money for it. But as long as you people are willing to just fork over that money, like, oh, deal. Like, oh, what a bargain. Like if you people would stop doing that, they wouldn't charge this kind of money, So it kind of irritates me at the same time. But
Sherry said Royal stopped giving away the good casino rates as well.
yeah, they stopped everything. Royal, like I'm just seriously, like they stopped everything. And I honestly cannot see the day when they just decide, oh, yeah, we'll go back to the way it was in 2019. Like, I just can't see it. I just can't see it.
I think we're gonna wait on Icon for a bit.
Yeah.
Wait
Yeah,
till the
so,
second.
like,
Wait till the second
okay.
ship comes out, and the newness will wear off.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'm just hoping they don't try to charge the.
Well, hey, listen, Captain, if you can share the secret where you haven't spent more than $1,000 for two people, I mean, like, here's the deal. Here's the conflicting part for me as a travel agent. If you're getting casino rates that are super cheap, the only thing I can say is if you don't realize that the amount of money that you must be spending in the casino in order to get that kind of rate isn't the equivalent of prepaying a ridiculous amount of money for your next cruise. Like if you don't see the correlation, then okay, but I mean, like you can't be spending $10 in the casino and have them offer you this insane casino rate. They're only offering those casino rates to people who spend a gazillion dollars. And if you don't see you spending a gazillion dollars in the casino as kind of the same as prepaying a gazillion dollars for your next cruise, then okay. Yeah. I mean, listen, I don't begrudge anybody for whatever their station is in life. I honestly, truly do not. But if you've got that kind of money to spend in a casino and don't miss it, love it. Love it. Don't have a problem with you whatsoever. Do not begrudge that one single bit. But if you're then getting a super good deal on your next cruise, that is absolutely why.
I tried to do an experiment on the last one and do $100 a day just to see if I got any kind of deals or anything, and I didn't get anything. No, I think I only spent 400 or 500 because there was a couple of days I skipped and all, but just because we had stuff going on, shows and everything else.
Right.
But, it was $400 or $500 I spent, and I earned 330 points, which are good for a year.
Right.
Yeah, it takes a
Listen,
lot.
the most I ever spent in a casino ever was about $2,500. Okay, on some Carnival ships, and I get I get these, like I think I just got one tonight, right? Like I'm looking at it right now, like up to $1,200 off plus $250 onboard credit and drinks on us, right? And then they're like, book now. And I click this link And it won't matter what cruise I pick. It won't matter if it's a 3-day cruise on Liberty from Port Canaveral or a 7-day cruise on, Legend or something like that or whatever. $1,200 off still means that me and a single supplement, obviously, me and even two people, me and my wife in a cabin on any Carnival ship going anywhere for any length is still going to be $5,000, right? With $1,200 off and $250 of onboard credit and free drinks. Yeah, free drinks in the casino when we can eventually flag down one of the 2 or 3 people waiters running around in the casino that might bring us one drink every 3 hours. I get it, but at the same time, if if that's supposed to be an enticement to me over just simply booking a cruise and going, no, not really. But, at the same time, I don't begrudge them of that. I'm not trying to be a jerk about it, even though it probably sounds like I'm trying to be a jerk about it. But at the same time, it's not the, oh, wow. It's not that. It just isn't.
Well, the way I look at it is, if you go on a cruise, it's entertainment. If you go to the casino, it's entertainment. And we go to the casino, we set a budget, and that's it. I
Yes.
was 1 point shy away from getting a free offer, but I wasn't there to get free offers. I was there to enjoy myself.
Yes. But see, now I wasn't getting 2 emails a day like this one that I was looking at that came in at, like, this last one that came in today was at 11:46 a.m. Like, I get 2 emails a day like this every day since I spent $2,500 in the casino. Like, I was never getting emails like this until I spent $2,500 in the casino. But apparently $2,500 in the casino isn't enough to get the, like, hey, come on your next 7-day cruise with us for, free, or something like that. Like, I'm just saying, I wasn't getting these emails until I spent $2,500, but apparently $2,500 isn't enough to get enough. I mean, for me, I would rather spend $4,000 on a cruise and just get on the cruise than for me to look at this and say, wow, what a deal. It's just not the same for me. I'm not trying to be a jerk about it. I appreciate the offer, but it's just not the deal they want me to be like, credit card, booked.
Hey, Eddie, I got mine too.
Nice. Very nice. Good night, Sherry. We'll see you in the morning. I'll probably see you from the road, but I'll see you in the morning.
I think I threw mine away. I don't want to book anymore.
Here.
No, I don't need to book anymore.
Yeah, so we're going on Norwegian on our next cruise in 2024 to Alaska. I actually got a pretty good person I'm working with over there. I did take all the free at sea ops, including the airfare, but I told him we want to upgrade to first class, and he's like, okay, well, I put it in writing on the reservation and in our notes that they're going to give me the airfare at the cost. I'll pay the difference between what they gave us for the included airfare, and my partner will pay the full amount.
Mm-hmm.
Which, we prefer to fly first class ever since COVID. So, we don't want to be crowded. Plus, we're people of size.
I flew first class one time on American Airlines from Reagan to Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
The people who sat in front of us, it was a family, so it was dad and son in front of us, mom and daughter on the other side of the aisle. The son spent the entire cruise peeking back through the seats for us and giving us the finger.
What?
Oh, wow.
And the dad seemed like he had a severe case of hyperactivity and couldn't sit still. And he was up and down and up and down and up and down. My wife and I felt like it ruined our first class experience because we couldn't just chill and relax because of that situation. And when we got up to leave the plane, I said to the flight attendant, she said, "I hope you enjoyed first class." And I said, "We didn't because of the a-holes who were in front of us."
Yeah.
And she looked at me and said,
Thank you.
"You're the a-hole."
Wow.
And I later found out that the reason why I was the a-hole is because the person I thought was the a-hole was actually a college buddy of the captain of the plane.
Yep. Well, when we go on a plane that's set up with just the seats in first class, and like a 737, that we always try to get the first row. That way we don't have to look at anything but a wall. But on our last trip, coming back from Miami, we were on a 787 Dreamliner, and we had our own private pods with doors and everything. I kicked back, relaxed, watched a movie, and my significant other decided.
Now, the reason why I don't like first row is because of the weird table.
And first class, you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the only reason why I don't like the first row.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, well, I'll tell you, if you ever have an opportunity to get onto one of the wide body jets, 787s, and you're going, long distance trip, and you're going to do first class, the first class experience is completely different. You have your own little private pod. The seat folds down to a flat bed. You have a 19-inch touchscreen. You have a lot of storage area there. On international flights, they have doors that close
right.
on the aisle sides. You don't have to really deal with other people unless you want to. And you even have a button that says "Do Not Disturb" right on your TV screen.
Nice.
Mike, you're so quiet, man.
Yeah, that's above my pay grade. I won't ever have that.
Well, listen, I only ever had it once, and the only reason why we took it was because it was probably, I don't know. Listen, my wife's an accountant, right? So, like, she's, bean counter. Things have to be economically viable for us to do anything, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I get it, right? Like, I completely get that, but you're still quiet.
Look at his eyes. His eyes tells you everything.
Yeah.
The biggest
Yeah, right. Like, listen, we watched the Love and Marriage show, right? I was astonished at how well you and Ricky know each other. Seriously, like my wife and I have been married 13 years. I don't think we know each other that well.
We've only been married for 6. We've been together for 7.
I know. That's what I was talking about. Like, because that flashed up. Because my wife was like, "Oh shit, they've only been married."
Well, like I said,
sorry,
married 6. We've been together for 17.
They've only been married 6 years. I was like, I know. She's like, we've been married 13 years. I doubt we know each other that well. I'm like, I agree.
My significant other and I are so well bonded. We don't only finish each other's sentences, but we finish each other's sandwiches.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, Mike, at all this summer, if you've got a time, like, we would love to meet you in Annapolis for crab dinner. Seriously, like, I would love to just sit down and just hang out with you, man. So I'm sure you got a very busy summer. We got a very busy summer, but if we can carve out any night for that, it'd be great.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure we can do it at some point because the wife is off on weekends now, so it's not that hard.
awesome. So like, it'd be totally worth driving down there for, man.
Sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. I did. I got lucky once. We were flying from me and the president of the company that I was working with, flying from California to Florida, and we made a stop in Dallas. And I got at the time I had like two backpacks and some other stuff, so it was slowing me down. So by the time we made it from one terminal to the next, they're closing the door, and as we get to the counter, they close the door. I
Mm.
mean, and the guy is like, "Wait a minute, we just got here. Let us in." The lady says, "No, well, you're too late. They close the door no matter what." And he made such a fuss. We went over to customer service. He made such a big fuss that they gave us first class on the next flight.
Nice.
Yes, so I was very impressed. But then I'm like, this is it. It was comfortable seat and all that, and we got a nice hot meal. But I'm like, no.
I mean,
Um,
like I said, my first and only first class experience, it was a comfortable seat. It was definitely,
yes,
like bigger, wider, more comfortable
like
cushion, stuff
like
like
in a
that, or
chair like
whatever,
this.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
But to be constantly kind of like, irritated by this kid who just constantly kept looking back at us, and he gave us the finger a couple of times, and dad was like up all the time and like, running around, talking really loud, all this other stuff is like, how is this any different than coach? Honestly, like seriously, like
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I always have a baby near me. All my flights, I always had a baby near.
yeah.
Once they hit that, once we hit pressure, their ears, they cry. So
And I had a flight attendant. Like I fly Southwest most of the time, right? But another time I flew American. Um, don't remember where I was. It was somewhere in coach, but I noticed that my seat back pocket was filled. I mean, like overflowing with trash from obviously whoever was eating in that
Yeah.
seat the previous flight, and they didn't clean it. So when the flight attendant came by, I said to her, "Excuse me." She said, "Yes." I said, "Do you think somebody could take this trash out of here?" And she looked at me and said, "Oh, by all means, I'll do it right now." Like that's how she said to me. I was like, "Okay, like I
I
don't
thank
think
you
I'm
very much.
being unreasonable about that, but okay."
Yeah,
So she reaches in there, she scoops it all out, and she leaves. Didn't see her again the entire flight until her last kind of like roll through the
I heard that.
cabin. And she came up to me and she was like, "Hello, sir. How was your flight? Is there anything else we could do for you on this flight?" And I said, "A little bit less attitude might be nice." And she was like, "By all means, sir." Like, I mean, it was more than obvious. She was kind of,
Yes, you don't
okay.
bother with it. Yeah,
But you know what? I didn't give her any pushback about it other than a little bit less attitude could be, nice. But, because, I mean, come on. They work very hard. She was probably on her fourth leg. She's probably dealt with a lot of difficult people and stuff like that. I was trying not to be a jerk about it, but I mean, I don't think it was unreasonable for me to expect that you would clear the garbage out from the people on the previous flight,
yeah,
like kind of not unreasonable in my book. But I mean, otherwise, I think my flying experience has been pretty good. I had one literally in probably 1,000 flights. They lost my luggage once in all those flights. I honestly cannot argue. The only bad thing about it was it's a matching set. So when I go into the luggage office in Baltimore and I say, my bag wasn't there, and he was like, okay, and he's, typing stuff or whatever, and he said, what's your name, kind of stuff like that. And then he said, can you describe the bag? And I backed up with my carry-on and I said, it looks exactly like this. It's just bigger.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and said, I really could do without your attitude. And I said,
I got started in the travel industry working for the airlines. I worked at O'Hare Airport for United.
yeah. I was just like,
throwing on the garbage over here because I see
okay, like
not changed, but I sealed the bag.
I don't think I'm just trying to tell you. You asked me a question. What does it look like? I'm saying it looks exactly like this. It's just bigger, And he said to me, you can have a seat out there and you can talk to a supervisor. One will be available in 3 hours. I said, okay. I've seen Airline on A&E, right? Which was a show they did about South America Airlines.
Yeah.
I said, okay, you know what? I'm not even going to play your game. Fine. I went out there. My wife went back in. I don't know what she said to him, but she came back out and said, okay, we're all set. We can leave. I left. And 2 days later, FedEx rolled up to my house, walked up, slammed my bag down on the front porch, and said, have a nice day.
Wow.
That's the only situation I've ever had in probably about 1,000 flights. So I can't honestly complain. But, I know there's definitely other people out there who've had much worse scenarios.
Yep.
For sure. I've seen them, it's terrible. I'm lucky. I count myself lucky, that I haven't had such a bad situation. But the only thing I can say about travel in general that I've had kind of a consistently and more than here and there situation with is when I get on cruise ships, I have more than I would like to have found my bag down the hall in front of somebody else's room with their bags. So I grab the bag, I grab the tag on the bag that's with it, and I see the number on it, and I see the number on the cabin, and then I see my bag, and I obviously has my cabin number on it. And in every instance that I've asked the cabin stewards, why is my bag 12 cabins away, sitting here with the bags that belong to this cabin, I'm told every time, oh, we're not done distributing the bags yet. And I'm like, then why the hell aren't they on the rack around the corner? Why are they here in front of this cabin? Right butt up against the bags that do belong to this cabin. And if not for that vigilance of myself, I suspect my bag would be in that cabin and I'd be sailing without clothes for that whole week. And it's happened more than once. It's happened more than 10 times, and I'm a bit irritated with it. That's probably my worst travel scenario. Say in the last 10 years. I've probably in the last 10 years, in the last say 40 cruises, I've probably found my bags in front of somebody else's cabin half the time. So out of 40 cruises, about 20 times. So it's pretty irritating. I mean, like, I know English isn't your first language, but surely somebody has distinguished to you, what English numbers look like.
On our cruise, our bags were kind of in that situation, and we were missing one bag, and we talked to our steward, and 10 minutes later, here's your bag.
Yeah. Yeah, right. But the problem is that I've seen way too many social media videos where people didn't do that. And then the people who arrived at that cabin, who belonged in that cabin, pulled those bags in and kept them.
Mm-hmm.
And those people ended up going the entire cruise without their clothes.
Well, our next cruise, we're putting air tags in our bags.
Yes. Yeah, my wife and I have talked about that, and we are going to purchase some air tags, and we are going to put them in there. And now, my only problem is I have an Android.
Get Tile.
Yes.
I
Yes.
got mine right here.
Yeah. So my wife has iPhone. So we are going to get air tags and rely on her phone to track them. And Android, Google did just announce that there's going to be a new generation of non-Apple air tags coming out that are going to be more trackable than the ones that exist now. But we're just going to use air tags in her iPhone to track them. So,
well, Tile works with both iPhone and Android and Windows.
Right.
And they're pretty accurate.
Yeah. But yeah, that is what we're going to do in the future, just because, I mean, just based on our own personal experience, we just can't trust it anymore. Right. We've just found our bags too many times in front of other cabins. We just can't trust that they'll be delivered. So, Eddie, you're muted again. Eddie, you're muted again, man. We can't hear you.
Sign language.
I read in what Guppy here put. Look at this. I won't be giving Eddie some Mike's bags. I don't want all of their upside down pineapples. He would love to have them upside down pineapples. I don't know what you're talking about, Cappy. I don't want your stuff. If I found it, I'll be the first one to bring it to you. See, look at that. Airline on DVD, great show. Yeah, but no, thank you.
So my wife went into this dollar store tonight, right? So she went into this dollar store tonight, and she was like, so I'm building, if you don't notice, I'm building a studio because I'm going to start doing primetime live streams. Probably like based on like advice from Eddie, probably like Wednesday nights at like 8 or 9 p.m. Right. So right now I'm in my living room, but my studio is in our basement. We have a finished basement. So my studio is in our basement. So I'm going to start doing live streams from there on Wednesday nights. So, anyway, so my wife went into this dollar store tonight. She was like, do you want me to look for like anything for like, like the background for your studio? And I was like, no. So she was like, okay. So tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, I'm driving down to Baltimore. Well, White Marsh, which is a suburb of Baltimore. I'm going to an IKEA store, and I'm going to buy this like piece of furniture or whatever from a back. Anyway, so my wife was like, do you want me to get like anything for your studio? I was like, no. So she comes back out and she says, I was tempted to buy you some things, even though you said no. And I was like, okay. And she was like, including a pineapple. And I was like, no, you can't be buying me any pineapples. I said, there can't be any confusion about where I'm at with that whole pineapple thing. And she was like, wait a minute. Weren't you just the one that went into a gift shop in Yorktown, Virginia and turned a pineapple upside down and did a short about it? I was like, yes, but
I did that to Blaine in Helen. We went to the German store, and he's walking around with a pineapple. And I saw him, and he kind of tried to hide it. I say, too late, already filmed me up and put a short. Walking around with a pineapple. Busted.
Yeah.
Like this guy here next to me. He cried out. He's the one doing it, doing the pineapples on doors. Look at him.
Who did?
Listen, like
That guy
when I
right
was
there.
on when I was on Magic last September, going to Canada, and I came off those aft elevators, and I came around. You know, the elevators were like back in an alcove, right?
Yeah.
I came around those elevators in, you know, to like head down the hallway. I came around those elevators, and right there, that room right in front of the door. It's in my video, one of my videos from that, right? And there was the upside down pineapple. It was like two pineapples in a laminated thing, and it said, like, honestly, it said right on it, said like something like plays well with others, something like that. I was like, oh my, I was like, I was like, no. I was like, oh my god! Out of like 1,000 cruises, this is the first time I've ever actually seen it firsthand kill me. I died from it. I was like, oh my god, I cannot believe it.
I've seen multiple doors with pineapples on them.
Oh my god. So now listen, I've seen plenty of rooms. I've seen plenty of rooms where they had a pineapple on it. And then at some point in time in the cruise, I saw the pineapple turned upside down, but it had been right side up. So I knew somebody just came by and just turned it, right? But this one was like deliberate. And I was like, oh my god, no.
Yeah, and the bloggers, the people next to us have flamingos on the door. Like, So me and Alice are like, keep on walking, keep on walking.
I don't have a problem with it.
Me neither.
I just have a hard time getting my mind around it.
No, my shit just
So
I think Captain does.
no, Captain, no. I would
Y'all still there?
never. I would never. Not well, maybe for $1 million. No, I would say that not for $1 million. Maybe for $1 million. Maybe for actually $1 million, maybe. But no. Oh, no. You know what I did though? I did go back and pull my phone out of my pocket and film it so I could vlog about it.
Oh yeah, I took pictures. Of a horror floor. We kept taking pictures.
Yeah.
And I think we hit another floor above or above because we were on the fifth deck. I think we went to the sixth. Or one day we were walking back from Oceans and we went all the way around and then took the elevators from that side. So it was fun. And took a lot of pictures up there with the all the stuff. Bring all that. So pretty cool.
So like here's my vlog about it. Right? See the pineapples? Like
shock and awe.
Right? Like shock and awe, right? So wait. So oh my god, I gotta skip an ad. I gotta skip an ad on my own channel. Like, no, don't skip an ad. You're gonna get like you're gonna get like half a penny for it. Right?
Hey, you're missing on 2 pennies. Yeah, don't skip.
That's my old logo, right?
Yes.
Wait.
Hey, Mud. What's up, Mud?
But so far, there has been a few things that need to be sitting around.
And of course, I've always missed people reading. Sometimes just
can't
walk
find
up
it.
to a crew member and head back to my cabin. So I took the
All
effort to
right,
bring a
so here.
smile to their face and make them really feel great about what it is that they're doing for us. So after enjoying the afternoon of wandering the ship, I decided it was time to head back to my cabin. So I took the aft elevators down to deck 8, and as I rounded the corner from the elevator alcove, there it was, right in my face. Nothing can prepare you for the shock and the awe of witnessing it firsthand. Is, oh my God. Sitting on the lounger, enjoying. I was like, oh my God.
And then the music with it too.
I know.
The
I was
Psycho.
like the Psycho. Like,
And
where'd
did you
Mike
notice
go?
that Mike conveniently left?
Yeah,
Yep,
I know.
yep.
Like, where did Mike go?
Yeah,
Like, where
suppose
did Mike
now he says,
go?
"Oh, my computer just went out." Yeah, how convenient.
Okay, Mike. Well, when you come back, I'll play it for you again. How about that?
Now you're gonna have to get him tomorrow. I think I'm out of here in about another 11 minutes.
Okay.
Just remember one thing: if you see a cabin with an upside down pineapple, and if you knock, you need to ask the question. Sometimes I feel like a nut. Sometimes I
Yes, I
don't.
don't. Yeah, and
Captain said, "Was that Mike's cabin?"
yes, yeah, that was
Oh
my
God.
cabin. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
it might have been. We
He
usually
said he's watching on the phone now. He got scared. He didn't want to admit it.
crazy.
We get him tomorrow morning. Or we're gonna be in a live at 9:30 in the morning with Destination Fun. So we
I
we
think I'm.
remind him
I
ask him.
don't think I'm going to be up that early tomorrow. I normally am up way earlier than that, but I'm thinking I'm sleeping in tomorrow because I got to drive down to Baltimore tomorrow. So, and then from Baltimore, my wife used to live in Wilmington, Delaware.
Yeah.
So there's this restaurant in Wilmington, Delaware. It's It's kind of like a Tex-Mex. Well, it's like Mexican Cajun. That's what it is. It's Mexican and Cajun. It's called Borders Cafe, and it's on the outskirts of Wilmington, Delaware. It's in like a place called Christiana, Delaware.
About 10 minutes, baby.
So, but it's literally right off of 95. So we're gonna drive down to Baltimore tomorrow to White Marsh to go to IKEA, and then we're gonna drive up 95 to Wilmington and have dinner there at Borders, and then drive home from there. So, so it's a long day, more or less. So I'm gonna probably sleep in tomorrow. But
Sweet.
Yeah, we got a crazy weekend. Last minute preparations for a family member's wedding next week.
Okay.
Well, the wife already hit the sack, so that means I better start getting ready soon.
Okay.
We're gonna be up at 6:45. Hopefully by 7:30, we'll be hitting the road, and I'm hoping we'll probably be on the road when we go on the stream with Destination Fun. That's what I'm gonna be doing. Putting the phone on 75 going north, and then I'm gonna have Alice check the chat on her phone, so we could keep up with with the talking and stuff like that. Hey,
Gotcha.
leave it alone.
So am I going to see you on Monday morning?
Oh yeah, Monday morning. Yes, we'll be
Okay.
back. We're coming back Sunday afternoon. We should be back in down here in Atlanta again. It's a 4-hour drive only. So either sometime in the afternoon, sometime in the evening, we'll be here. And
Okay.
then I gotta do my morning quickie 7:15,
Gotcha.
and then we're gonna hit Jeremy, and hopefully Jeremy and Cheryl will be back. If not, we'll do the show with Z. We did well this week. I was very surprised that Z kept it going, and he did great. So
Yeah,
I mean,
listen. I think Z did a great job in the morning,
Yeah.
and I was really impressed with his focus.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I really kind of feel like the show was not cruise centric enough.
Well, yeah. Once
Yeah.
Jeremy gets back, then
That's what I kept telling myself. Okay, once Jeremy gets back,
Yeah, we didn't have the same amount of people that we usually have with Jeremy.
right?
You
Because
know,
like
Jeremy Show
I
out
actually had a few of my not a lot, a few of my
Yeah.
subscribers send me messages
Yeah.
saying, will there eventually be cruise information on your
Yeah.
cruise morning show? And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, listen, I appreciate where you're coming from, but this week is kind of like a unique week because our kind of main hosts aren't
Yeah.
there. And I just said to them, I would appreciate you coming back next week.
Yeah.
You know,
See
like
the difference. Yeah.
give us another chance, you know, give us another shot about it. Come back next week. We think we'll be a little bit more cruise centric. But at the same, you know, I mean, like don't get this the wrong way, but like your channel is not necessarily all about cruising,
Oh no.
right? And Z's channel isn't. But my channel is like, I mean, I'm the muster drill,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like where you
That's
haven't
what
gone.
I don't mind you coming over because
Yeah, I'm saying like my channel is more cruise centric, so my
yes.
viewers are a little more kind of like we want to hear cruise stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
I agree. Yes. Definitely. So
yeah,
yeah, that's the deal. But we'll be back now, especially with them two coming back from celebration. He's gonna be talking about celebration all week.
yeah,
No, definitely.
I'm looking
But,
forward to it. Like I really can't
yeah.
wait to hear. I mean, like I've seen on some of their lives, like kind of what their impressions are and stuff of
Yeah.
it. But I really can't wait to hear them just kind of like open
Hopefully
up
they'll buy it every day. You know, they will talk about it every
about it a
day.
little bit
You know,
more and
but,
tell us some more. But yep, absolutely. I'm
not
really
all
looking
one shot.
forward to that.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure. Like I had just told like Jen and Andrew, I was like, you know what, like, you know, I can't wait till they go on Jubilee because they cruise out of Galveston, right, most of the time,
Yes. Yeah.
and they've been on like Dream like 10,000 times. And
Yeah.
I'm really like I can't wait till you guys go on Jubilee so that you know you can really see how night and day different XL class is to any other carnival ship. So
And I'm gonna get my experience in October. Finally, I'm gonna be in a carnival cruise after so long. It's gonna be Alice's first time on Carnival, so I'm definitely looking forward to hear her side of the
yeah,
cruise.
so I just saw the Guy's Burger menu that was released from Venezia because
Yeah.
like I had heard from the beginning that that Guy's was going to have like a couple of kind of like special Italian style specific Guy's Burger options along with like, you know, the regular options that you would expect from Guy's, and they just released kind of like a picture. John Hale released a picture of the menu board.
Yeah,
I sent
I
it
saw
to my
that. Yeah.
wife, and she was like, "Oh, I can't wait to have like this burger." And that, like, there's like 2 or 3 burgers on there. It's not just one. It's like 2 or 3 burgers that are kind of like Italian style specific over the regular Guy's Burger menu. So, and there's other food venues on the ship
Mm,
that are going to be more Italian style centric. So we're really looking forward to it. We cannot
definitely,
wait
yes,
to get on
definitely.
that ship in September.
Yeah. Like Ross, he put a menu from RCL, also RCCL. Yeah,
If you look at my new video I put up, it's basically the Royal Caribbean video about the list, everything about the restaurants.
yes.
So if you want to take a look at that, it'll give you some.
Now, when we were on Anthem in January, it was the very first sailing of the new menu.
Yeah.
And we hated it.
I looked at the menus and I said, I'm done.
Yep. We
That's
absolutely
why I canceled my Quantum to Alaska and went to Norwegian.
We hated it. We hated it. We hated it. So we just did not. We went to the dining room. It was an 11-day cruise. We went to the dining room 5 nights out of 11 nights. We hated it. Absolutely hated it.
And when we were on the Oasis, that was prior to the change. We did it all specialty. We did unlimited dining.
Yeah. Now we're on Wonder in October, and we have the unlimited or ultimate dining specialty dining package.
Yeah.
So we suspect it'll be a little bit better just because we won't be in the MDR every night.
Yeah.
But that
Have
new
you-
menu we do not like.
Have you done portside barbecue on the Oasis?
No.
Fantastic. I'm a Kansas City Barbecue Society sanctioned judge, and it's competition grade.
Gotcha.
And I'm very picky.
Yeah, so like we saw the restaurant when we were on Oasis last May.
Mhm.
We just didn't eat in it.
Yeah, it's worth the time, and the portions are huge.
Gotcha.
I think it's the best value on the show.
Okay.
So, I'm real picky about barbecue because of what I do the judging, and
Yeah.
I was blown away.
It's good to know. I mean, like, I'm sure we'll be on Oasis again, and we probably will try it. But like I said, when we were on Oasis in May, we did see it because I was like, oh, look, barbecue restaurant. Hadn't been there last time we were on Oasis.
Mm-hmm.
But we just never ended up trying it while we were on there. So
It's a must do.
Well, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. If you guys don't mind, time for me to hit the sack. The wife
Great.
already left me. She threw me a kiss and closed the door. That means I gotta hurry up. Otherwise,
It's been great hanging out with you, Eddie. I'll see you Monday morning.
Yes, sir. I'll be live in the morning. Probably the road until we get to Tennessee till around noon anyway.
Okay.
And then I don't see myself. I'm gonna try to keep an eye on the Saturday stroll, and I might be live again tomorrow night at 10. When Mr. Clark is the one who's gonna decide if we're gonna go live or not. And then on Sunday at 7, I'll probably be live with him if I'm home on time. Otherwise, I see you Monday morning. So
Okay. Have a great weekend.
Yeah. Ross is saying good night.
Bye bye.
Yeah. Everybody in the chat is still here. Thank you all very much for hanging out with us, giving us support that you guys are giving us to keep us going. And everybody enjoy your weekend. Happy Veterans Day, Memorial Day, and all that. Stay blessed, stay out of trouble, and don't get in trouble. I got no money for